மதுரையில தமிழ் ஃபங்க்ஷன்.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege and a joy to be with you tonight for the Jaffna College Alumni Association United Kingdom dinner. My thanks to the JCAA UK for inviting us to share in this celebration. We're really glad to be here, and we're glad to be part of this celebration which honors not only the proud legacy of Jaffna College, but also the enduring spirit of its alumni body. As noted, founded in 1872, Jaffna College became a beacon of Christian education in Sri Lanka, nurturing both the mind and the soul of its students. For over 150 years, that vision has guided generations of students to lead with integrity, compassion, and purpose. And tonight we celebrate that living legacy, and each of you as graduates of Jaffna College carry forward that legacy in your lives and in your communities. For the trustees of Jaffna College funds, or TJCF as we call it for short, the organization we have the privilege to represent, this legacy is both a sacred trust and a continuing mission. At TJCF, we see ourselves as stewards of the past, partners in the present, with you and other alumni and with the other stakeholders in Jaffna College, and we see ourselves as believers in the future of Christian education, specifically Jaffna College and Udall Girls College. Since our founding in 1877, nearly 150 years ago, TJCF has supported Christian education in Sri Lanka, with Jaffna College as our primary grant recipient. And I understand there are some Udall Girls College alumni here tonight. We proudly supported, there they are, very good. We have proudly supported Udall Girls College for over 50 years, since the 1970s. And that partnership actually began at the request, at that time, 50 years ago, by the president of president of Jaffna College. And our role has always been a simple one, but a vital one, to provide the resources and stewardship needed for these institutions to flourish so that the next generation can experience the same transformative education that shapes so many of you. As a tax-exempt Massachusetts nonprofit corporation, we're subject to national and state requirements, as was mentioned on the lawyer. I have to bring that up. It governs our obligations to assure that what is termed under the law in Massachusetts as due application of funds. In essence, that our grants are in fact spent for their intended uses, which are to be consistent with our corporate purposes. Most of our funds were raised between 1879 and 1906, a total of $88,000 in that era. Our first donation came from the American Board of Commissioners for Foreign Missions, affiliated with the Congregational Church at that time. The largest gift came from a gentleman named Jesse St. John, who you may have heard of, because he gave 100 shares of Standard Oil of California stock, at that time valued at $42,000. And that gift established the Daniel Bohr Memorial Fund, which was named in honor of Mr. St. John's father-in-law. Among other notable donors back then at that time were U.S. President Grover Cleveland and John D. Rockefeller, who in 1906 contributed $7,000 toward the construction of a new building. As was noted, just by way of introduction, I am the current president of TJCF. Lori Bruce, who is with us, is our vice president, and Mark Longforth serves the TJCF in various capacities, including as chair of our committee on trustees. I'm in my second 5-year term as a member of the TJCF board, having been enticed several years ago by our former president, Ed Bedrosian, who you may have heard of. He was a long-serving member of the board. And as I was thinking about what I was going to say tonight, I said, well, why was it that I accepted his invitation to become part of the TJCF board and why I continue to serve on the board. The reason is Jaffna College's and Universal Girls College's visions, and the Jaffna College and Universal Girls College students and staff. And recall in that connection when I was in Jaffna in late January, early February, earlier this year, and I saw the vision of Jaffna College, as I recall, on the right-hand side, as you're entering the quadrangle. Educate yourself to be a lover of learning, a dynamic in sports, outstanding in character, and mighty in spirit. And that struck me at the time as a wonderful vision for Jaffna College and a wonderful vision for TJCF in supporting Jaffna College. My commitment has been reinforced by my interactions with Jaffna College alumni here in the UK, Toronto, and in Sri Lanka, Baghdad, and Colombo. Had contact with all those organizations, and everyone I speak to about their time at Jaffna College, including this evening, has had stories attesting to the difference Jaffna College made in their lives, and whose dedication to their school endures years later, as all of you are attesting by being here tonight. As was noted, I'm a retired lawyer, having spent most of my career litigating and arbitrating civil disputes, something that was deemed of interest and somewhat useful when we were engaged in some litigation, which has now thankfully been resolved. From the humble beginnings of $88,000 over a century ago, through patient stewardship and long-term investing, led by TJCF's Committee on Finance and Investment, the fund has grown to more than $45 million today. Before you get fixated on that particular number, I should give some context. At the end of 2024, a year ago, the balance was about $41 million. Go back a few more years, 2022, when we had a bear market, the value fell to $28 million. During the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, just a few years ago, it was $23 million, and during the financial crisis of 2009, only 16 years ago, it was $15 million. So why that volatility? Conversation I have from time to time with our treasurer, Mike Kellogg, and it is because over time, we've moved our investments entirely into publicly traded equities. Not specific equities, but funds that gather together and try to cover a large segment of the entire stock market, both domestic in the United States and global. And so you might ask, why all stocks? Isn't it safer to just include bonds or include some bonds? And the answer is it depends on the time horizon. And this comes back to our mission at TJCF. Most investors have a limited time horizon, some longer than others, but generally limited by the time horizon you have for retirement or for your children or whatever. But TJCF is a perpetual fund, meaning that our intention is that it be everlasting, so that for the next generation, the generation after that, there will be funds here that can still serve to support Jaffna College. So we're not measured in years or months, but rather in decades in terms of our time horizon for investment. So over a long period, stocks have delivered higher returns, and compounding those returns year after year has been vital to our substantial support of Jaffna College and the investment performance that I just mentioned. So, Mike Kellogg has helpfully provided me with this. Over the last 10 years, our portfolio has gained value at an average rate of 11% annually, compared with just 2% for bonds. Or said another way, over 10 years, our stock portfolio has gained 202% versus only 20% if it was in bonds. So, next question is, how do we come to the amounts that we budget every year for support of Jaffna College, Universal Girls College, and our other beneficiaries? To provide stability for those grant amounts, we calculate our annual grants based on a 10-year quarterly average of our asset value. So in other words, we look at the end of every quarter, what's the value of the assets, we add those up and divide by the number of quarters, and that has the effect of smoothing out our market swings and ensure the steady support. So in a year in which the market is down, we're not looking at saying, well, the market is down, we need to reduce the amount of our support. In fact, over the past 20 years, despite the ups and downs in the market, some of which I just mentioned, our 10-year average has never gone down. Some years it's grown in a less rate than in others, but it's grown on average over that period about 7 or 8% annually. We apply a withdrawal rate that to that average number that we come up with to determine a grant budget. That rate, going back to what I said about this being a perpetual fund, is intended to ensure that over time, the perpetual nature of the funds is protected by not eating up too much of the principal in any given year, even in down market years. Ensuring that we live up to the expectation that those funds persist in perpetuity is something we take quite seriously, and that has been taken quite seriously over the decades that TJCF has been in existence. Historically, that rate was 3.5%, so 3.5% of that average number that over the 40 quarters that I mentioned. Following the resolution of the legal action that was brought by Jaffna College, and in the spirit of renewed collaboration that we feel has come out of that settlement, we last year increased that number to 4.5% of the average number for this year's budget for 2025. So over the last decade, the last 10 years, TJCF has distributed $8.6 million in grants to its various beneficiaries. For 2026, we're waiting to do a final vote on our budget for 2026, but we expect to distribute somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.1 million, with about $650,000 of that, or about 60%, going to Jaffna College. That's the largest operating grant that we have ever made. So it's increasing as we go forward. Beyond the annual operating report, in consultation with Principal Bashira and the Jaffna College Board of Directors, we're developing a multi-year capital plan to improve campus facilities, ensuring that students have a safe, comfortable, and inspiring environment to learn and grow. While TJCF grants constitute a significant portion of Jaffna College's operating expenses, faithful stewardship of the perpetual fund has not permitted us to fully fund Jaffna College's operations. Nor would it, in our view, be desirable or appropriate for us to do so. Our belief is that all stakeholders in Jaffna College, including those here gathered tonight, should have a financial stake in the operation and future of Jaffna College, including the financial support, something that TJCF has encouraged and supported over the years. That is involvement by alumni and other groups that want to support Jaffna College financially to join us in partnership to keep Jaffna College going forward. And we have been very pleased to see alumni, including alumni in this room, as Precious has pointed out, who have been stepping up to assist Jaffna College. One of TJCF's commitments in the settlement agreement that ended the litigation I referred to is to consider participation in matching gifts to Jaffna College from alumni. Matching gift programs, we believe, are a powerful way to let the generosity of alumni and others who we might participate with to have a greater impact on Jaffna College and its students, and also, as part of that, to motivate giving to that end. So we're open to exploring with you, as we discussed with Moresh and some of your other officers last night, to join with the UK Alumni Association and other alumni associations to identify and develop matching opportunities for improvements at Jaffna College. Together, we can make every dollar or rupee raised to build something lasting, something worthy of the college's mission. I want to mention briefly, as you may have heard, after a hiatus of about a dozen years, two TJCF delegations visited this year. I was part of the group that went in January, February, earlier this year. That group also included Imam Ithiraj, who I know some of you know, and Sharani Mills, the former principal of Woodville Girls College, who is now a member of our board. The primary impetus for that visit was to celebrate the settlement of the vacation, which had been approved and finalized by the court finally at the end of last year. We did that celebration in fine fashion. We were, the hospitality in Jaffna and Jaffna College was incredible. But we also attended Sports Day, a cultural presentation, Jaffna College Board of Directors meeting, and toured the campus. And we met with Jaffna College Alumni Association members in Colombo and then at Valley. Jaffna College endures because of communities like this one. Alumni who care deeply, give generously, and live out the values of Jaffna College wherever life takes them. Your Alumni Association has been a bridge between continents and generations, supporting students, providing needed funds, and nurturing fellowship among graduates. And your dedication sustains the very heart of the Jaffna College community. As we look toward the future, as we discussed last night with Moresh and the other officers, we very much look forward to strengthening our partnership with the UK Jaffna College Alumni Association and with other alumni associations across the globe. And we also look forward to other opportunities, such as this one, for us to get to know each other better and to understand our concerns and our hopes for Jaffna College. So again, thank you for having us this evening for this wonderful celebration. We're very glad to be here and look forward to talking with you more this evening.
Hey everyone. Thank you so much to all the distinguished alums in this room and all supporters of Jaffna College. It has been a pleasure, an honor, and an absolute joy to be here with you this evening. I am deeply grateful for your invitation and for your generous hospitality. It has surrounded all of us from the moment we got off the plane, so thank you very, very much. Your warmth and kindness has been truly moving, and they remind me of the strength of the Jaffna College spirit, a spirit that transcends geography and time. When I visited Sri Lanka this past June, as John mentioned, he went in January. Mark and I went with Sarah Butter, and we were also joined by Imam again and Sharani. I was just mesmerized. What a beautiful country. And also experienced incredible hospitality while we were there. So, one of the things that really struck me were the young people. They were filled with curiosity and discipline and hope. Incredible. They reflected a dedication not only to themselves, but to their families and to their communities. Their tenacity to overcome challenges and commitment to learning left a lasting impression on me. Education is far more than an individual pursuit. It is the heartfelt transformation of individuals and communities. Every one of you in this room embodies that same heartbeat. You are living examples of what Jaffna College makes possible. Your achievements in the world, combined with your continued generosity towards your alma mater, are symbols of hope to the students who walk those same corridors. They see in you what is possible. They see that success does not require leaving one's roots behind, but carrying them into new soil and continuing to blossom. Your commitment to giving back to Jaffna College does more than provide financial support. It affirms a shared belief that education can change lives and create opportunity where once there was limitation. When people come together around such a purpose, amazing things happen. Resources multiply, relationships deepen, and hope blossoms into tangible impact. As Vice President of the Trustees for Jasper College, I am inspired by the dedication of this alum community. I am filled with hope that we can strengthen our collaboration even further to ensure that every student today and tomorrow has the support and encouragement they need to reach their fullest potential. Together, we can help shape a future in which Jaffna College continues to produce not only scholars and professionals, but also compassionate leaders committed to service. In a world often divided by distance and difference, gatherings like this remind us that as humans, we are one extended family, bound by a shared purpose. When we invest in children, we invest in the future of a collected humanity. So tonight, as we celebrate our commitment to Jaffna College, let us remember that every contribution, whether it be time, talent, or treasure, echoes across generations. You are not only sustaining an institution, you are sustaining hope itself. So once again, I thank you for your extraordinary hospitality, for your generosity, and for the honor of sharing this evening with you. I look forward to deepening our partnership and walking alongside you as we help Jaffna College continue to create and nurture a learning environment that lifts its students today and paving the way for alums and trustees of tomorrow to continue spreading the same light of hope. May God bless you all, and may the enduring spirit of Jaffna College continue to inspire us for generations to come. Thank you.
It's a great honor to be here with you all this evening, and I promise I will only take a few minutes of your time so that we can start dinner. My name is Mark Balmforth. As you just heard, I'm a historian of Jaffna, and tonight I'm here as a trustee. I'm really very touched by the warm welcome. Being a trustee is also a great honor and a tremendous responsibility, as you can all understand. Helping look after this perpetual fund is a tremendous weight and a great honor. And I take that honor and responsibility very seriously. And so tonight, in the few minutes that I have with you, I'm going to tell you two things. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am and how I ended up a trustee. And then I want to tell you a little bit about what I do as a trustee and what that means. We've now heard from John and Lori about our gratitude this evening and about what the trust is. But what does that mean for us on a day-to-day basis? That's what I hope that I'll leave with you in the next 2 minutes. But who am I? My first trip to Sri Lanka was after tsunami. It was in 2005 on the 6-month anniversary of tsunami. I was 19 years old, and I thought I could do something to help someone. And I went back to America after that trip, and I realized I hadn't helped anyone, and that actually I maybe caused more problems than I had solved. And so that started a process of me trying to figure out why I was a middle-class American wanting to go halfway around the world to Sri Lanka to do an aid project. And I started studying the history of Americans going to Sri Lanka. I learned about the long history of missionaries going to Sri Lanka. And slowly but surely I learned about all of the names that I'm sure that you've been hearing about, from Daniel Poor, all the way through Bunker and Bicknell and the others. Gradually I came into a classroom at Columbia University with an old boy of Jaffna College, Valentine Daniel. And he and I spent long hours talking about Jaffna College, and soon I developed a PhD project about Jaffna College and the American Salem Mission, education and caste. And now, maybe 10 years later, I'm a historian of South Asia. So I have about 20 years of experience visiting Sri Lanka and visiting Jaffna. Madre Tamil Panchen. Ange ஒரு வருஷம் படிச்சேன். அப்புறம் அமெரிக்காவில் 3 வருஷம் படிச்சேன். ஆனால் இப்போ என்னோட தமிழ் தள்ளி போச்சு. But I still try. If you don't practice it, you lose it very quickly. But I still try. So that tells you a little bit about who I am and why I'm on the trust. Now, what do we do on a daily basis? What does it mean to be a trustee? Well, frequently I'm receiving emails from, could be Rashira, could be members of the board. I recently in June visited, as a part of the trustee delegation you've already heard about, visiting campus facilities, visiting the bunker and Howland dormitories. As trustees, we have a great deal of responsibility to oversee how money is spent, especially with capital expenditure. And so I'm spending a great deal of my time trying to track how that money is being spent and ensuring that it's being spent as intended. So right now, as you may know, the Bicknell Pavilion is currently being refurbished. It had a roof that was at risk of collapse. And so recently money has been sent to refurbish Bicknell Pavilion. And right now I'm spending time talking to engineers, learning about everything from concrete quality testing to iron and steel testing to ensure exactly what we're paying for is being built, to ensure that it's going to have a 40-year lifespan and not a 10 or 15-year lifespan, which may happen if poor materials are being exchanged. So we're trying to ensure the use of that money is as intended, and to ensure good governance through our supervision. With you, the alumni, incredible things have been possible over the past year. I'm sure you've all seen all of the changes that are taking place. And personally, as a trustee, I'm deeply honored to be here with you, to be able to share a meal with really our partners in transforming Jaffna College and hopefully returning it to its past glory. That's part of my goal and my mission. So with that, I will thank you all very much for your hospitality, and I wish you all a wonderful dinner. Thank you.